Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Jurors here. So today I'm going to be showing you my automated armor switching machine. So this machine can store up to 5 sets of armor. It is also easy to modify it slightly in order to increase the number of armors that can be stored. So the way this works is you come up here, you look to see which armor set you are looking at. And so let's say we want to get to armor stand 3. We simply press this button once. Now we're looking at 2. And again. And so let's say we want that chest plate on us. We could put a couple other pieces on the armor stand as well. So then what we do if we want the armor set is we simply press this button on the right. Let's see. As you saw there, it broke the armor stand with an arrow coming out of that dispenser, and then dispensed the armor onto us from a dispenser in the floor. Oops. So yeah, this is an easy way to store your armor and to switch between your armors. And always remember that you are going to get the armor stand in your inventory because it's being broken by the dispenser. And as dispensers will not dispense armor stands standing up, you have to manually place the armor stand down. That's pretty much it for the functionality of the machine. Now I'll show you guys how it works. So over here we just have a simple hopper loop that creates our counter, lighting up our indicator lights. And I do not remember the name of the man who created this tutorial on this this counter, but it'll definitely be in the section below there. Alright, and when you press the button on the left, this slime block pushes the armor stand until it's underneath here. And this is just a simple elevator that takes the armor stand up, and then this is where they're stored. So as you can see, there's one in each slot, and when you press the button, it flickers these doors open and then closed again, allowing the armor stands to progress to the next slot. And once they get to the end, obviously they just drop down and we can see them. And I also like this design just because you can kind of put your sets of armor on display. As you see, like you can just make a room up here with a staircase up here or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's get right into building this. Alright, so we're going to start by making a 3x3 hole that is 1 deep. And then on one side you're going to go and remove 1 more block. And opposite of this block is going to be the front of the machine, so this is where you're going to walk in to look at your armor sets. So plan accordingly for that. And then you're going to take a dispenser, make sure this is a dispenser and not a hopper, and point it facing upwards in that block that we took out there, with a redstone comparator coming out of it, leading into a redstone repeater, and finally into a solid block. Then after we're done with that, we're going to take normal pieces of redstone. First we're going to run a line down the left side of the machine, and then place a repeater next to this comparator, and then 2 more pieces of redstone like that. And then once we're done with this, we can test to see if this works. So whenever there's an item in this dispenser, it should be shut out. There we go. And then the clock turns off just to make sure it doesn't create a lag in your world or anything like that. And then we can cover up this part of the build with half slabs, just so it looks a little bit nicer. And we can also cover up this dispenser and the 2 blocks next to it. And then once you're done with that, you're going to remove these 3 blocks here, and then 1 more block here, making a backwards L shape. And you're going to take hoppers, And you're going to be feeding these hoppers into this dispenser. And we can do this by looking at it, holding down shift and right clicking. So we're going to feed 3 back like that. And then this one off to the side into that one as well. And then once you're done with that, you can take a block, any normal block will do, put it behind this hopper here with the dispenser on top of it, facing towards the entrance, like so. And after you're done with that, we can make the structure of the building a little bit by putting a block over this hopper here, and then another block on either side, and then one more block up. And these 2 blocks are the blocks where the buttons are going to go. So we can go ahead and put those on now. Right there and right there. Alright, we can also bring this up one more and take a half slab and put it right there. And then 2 more half slabs right there and there. That way you have a nice little window to look through, but you can't actually physically walk up through it. And now once we're done with that, we have to hook up our button to our dispenser. So this button on the right is the one that we want to press when we want the armor set. So it'll shoot an arrow out of this dispenser, breaking the armor stand with the armor on it, and it'll automatically equip it to us. So we're going to pick up this signal from this button below the block that it's on, right here. And then we're going to snake it down over to this dispenser. Oops. And it doesn't really matter how you feed it over as long as you do feed it over. So if you have things in the way, you can make it go around if you can't go down and such. But just make sure that this button, when you press it, it fires this dispenser. And right about now would be a good time to test this out. So we can take a stack of arrows, throw it in the dispenser, and then an armor stand and some armor if you'd like. Then we come over here, we put down the armor stand, put some armor on it. Alright, let's see. And now when we press this button, it should break the armor stand and equip us with the armor. Perfect. As you guys saw, we didn't have pants on the thing, so it didn't give us pants. But if it does that, you have built it correctly so far. And that's going to be it for step 1. Alright, for step 2, we're going to start by extending our platform a little bit. You can just put another row on each side here. And as you see, I also extended it out this way 2 blocks. And so now we can go ahead and put another block, or another line of solid blocks to the left side of the machine like this, with our redstone lamps on top of it, all 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we can go ahead and put some blocks on top of it as well and fill in this corner. And once we're done with that, we can put a row of blocks like this, a row of blocks on top of that, and then one more behind. This is where you're going to put your comparators. So just run one comparator into each of these blocks. And when this comparator is lit up, it is going to power this block, which will power these redstone lamps. Now we're going to put 2 more rows of blocks right behind that. And this is where our circular hopper chain is going to sit. So you can start out by just putting a normal block, and then put a hopper into that normal block, and just make it go in a circle. There we go. And then remove that block. Place that hopper like that. So items will freely flow in a circle through this hopper chain. And now we can go ahead and put redstone on top of each hopper. And a block like this, with a piece of redstone dust leading the signal downwards. Then you're going to put a normal block right there with a redstone torch on it. As you see, it lights up all the redstone up here. And then we're going to take a normal block and put it on top of this torch with another torch. These have to be redstone torches, guys. Obviously. On that block. And once we're done with that, we just need to put 2 items in on opposite sides. So one goes in this hopper, and then one will go on the opposite side. And you can also do these 2 edges instead if you want, but it doesn't make a difference. Alright, and once we're done with that, we have to hook it up to our button. So we're going to want this hooked up to the button on the left here, because this is the button that's going to be switching through the sets of armor. And so we want this counter to update when we go to the next piece of armor. So we can simply do that by removing the block underneath the button. And then taking a redstone signal and putting it into this block here. And now if we want to come over here and test it, when we press this button, it should go to the next slot. There we go. Perfect. And you can go ahead and label with signs what set of armor you want to put in each slot, as I showed earlier. So yeah, you can just have fun with it here, put whatever you want. And that's going to be it for step 2. Alright guys, so for step 3, we're going to start out by coming over here to the left of this hopper. 2 blocks away from it, we're going to put a normal block down, and then a sticky piston on top of that block, with a slime block attached to that piston. And then we're going to take some obsidian, put 1 obsidian block below that slime block. You can also use furnaces or other things for it, anything that can't move, and then 1 to the next, or to the right of it there. And now we're going to come over here and remove 6 of these dirt blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to replace that with packed ice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can also use normal ice. You just got to make sure that there's no torches around, otherwise the ice will melt. And then once we have this, we can go over here and build our elevator. So we're going to start out by going 3 up. And then take a normal piston and point it down to the ground like so. And then we're going to make another line of blocks right behind that set and just bring both towers up a ways here. And then you're going to come over here and stand on the regular piston that we placed down. Let's make sure it's regular. Yes, it is. And then you're going to place another regular piston facing downwards again. Then come up here and place another one. So now we should have 3 regular pistons with 2 blocks in between each of them. And once we're there, then we're going to break out every other block. So we're going to break out this one, this one, this one, this one, and just continue this pattern all the way up. And then once we're there, we're going to put a redstone torch just normally on this block. And then we're going to put 1 on the side all the way up, and we should see each piston fire as we do this. Alright, we're like almost done with the elevator now, guys. So now we're just going to clear out some area. 3 by 5 or so should be good. And then here we're going to go down 2 blocks, break out this block right here, the one under the block that's holding that torch. And then we're going to place a redstone torch on top like that. And you should hear the pistons fire, and they should extend downwards like that. And we're going to take 2 redstone dust, place them right there and there, going into this block. Then you're going to take a sticky piston, pointing into the elevator with a redstone block on top or attached to it. Like that. And once you do that, you should hear all the pistons retract. You should see that. And now we just need to hook up this piston and this piston to the button on the left here. The one that changes our little counter here. Alright, we're going to do that very simply by placing some blocks like this and running the redstone signal up so that it's next to this piston, so that piston will fire. And now we got to run it all the way over to that piston over there. So we're just going to grab the line and bring it all the way over here. Oops. And we're going to put 2 repeaters randomly in this redstone line just to make sure that the signal makes it all the way and that the timing is good. We just run it down to this piston, and so now when we press this button, we should see this piston fire and all these pistons fire. So let's see if that happens. So we press it, so that one fired, and see all those fired as well. And we can test to make sure that we did this right by taking an armor stand, placing it down where they're going to be, pressing this button. It should end up on the top there. Let's do it one more time. Slides over, gets put up top. Alright guys, that's going to be it for step 3. Now all we have to do is put in our fence gates and our water stream, which is going to take the blocks, or the armor stands, back over here and drop them down. Alright, see you in the next step. Alright guys, for step number 4, we're going to come over here to this top piston and extend it out 5 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you're lined up correctly, right after this block should be the drop down. So it looks like we're 1 too short. So we're going to put 1 more here. And so now when we drop down, we should drop down right here where we want the armor stands to drop down. And then we're going to create a little area for the water to sit right here. Perfect. And then you're going to extend the blocks down to the end right here on either side. And then we're going to take glass. We're going to put it 2 lines of it on either side here. And now we must take a sign, make a little glass funnel here, and take your sign and put it on the end here so the water does not flow off the edge. You can make it say something funny if you want. You don't have to though, it's okay guys. Alright, then we can put down a water stream like this, and it should stop at the end there and not flow any further. Make sure you put that sign down before you place this water, or you're going to have all kinds of issues. So then we're going to bring this glass wall up 1 more on either side. Woo! And now we're going to put in our fence gates. So you're going to go to this piston, go 1 more block over, so not on this piston, but 1 block past it. Then you're going to take a fence gate. We're actually going to have to use normal blocks to get the fence gate down. So you put a normal block, and then you can just remove this block here. And then we're going to do this every other block until we have 4 fence gates put down. So we're going to need 1 right here, and then 1 right here. Then remove the blocks that we used to place the fence gates. And then we do need 1 on the end here as well. And this creates our 4 holding chambers. We'll have 1 right here, 1 right here, 1 right here, and 1 right here. and then there'll be one armor stand down there that we're looking at, and that makes 5 altogether, which conveniently is the same number of lights we have, so you can label each armor stand. Alright, once we're done with that, all we have to do is hook up the redstone that will go to these fence gates. So that's relatively easy to do. Just break out the blocks. Oh, no. Be right back for a second, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. So as you saw there, it's probably a good idea just to hold off putting the water there until we're completely done with the design, just so we don't have issues like we just had there. Alright, so you're going to break out the blocks next to these fence gates, all the way down, and replace it with one normal block like that. And then we're going to take a line of blocks. Let's clear the weather real quick. Alright, we're going to make a line of blocks all the way down, hooking into the blocks that we just placed. So we're going to have redstone going to each of these guys here. Perfect. And so now we have to get this redstone signal up to these fence gates so that they will flicker when we hit the button on the left there. So we can do that simply by removing a couple of redstone here, placing a block. We're going to grab some half slabs just to make it easier to get up there so we don't have to like keep backtracking over and over and over again. And I'm sure there's a more compact way to do this, but we're just going to do it like this. So that should hook in there. Now we place a block like that, the half slab right here, so that the redstone will easily flow back up there. Then we can go ahead and place a block right there. And just keep cutting this back and forth as it goes up. Oops. Can be a little bit tricky getting these into place, but it's well worth it, guys. So we're just going to keep cutting back and forth like this, and eventually we're going to have to put some repeaters down. So right about here is a good place to start putting repeaters. So we're going to go one more over, put our piece of redstone dust, repeater, another piece of redstone dust, redstone dust, and then we're going to slab up again. I'm sure there's a more compact way to do this, guys, but this is the way that I did it, and it seems to work quite alright. And so now we can just go and bring the signal up to the redstone that we laid down earlier with the fence gates. And we are going to want one more repeater in there like that. And bam, we're done with the design. Alright guys, let's quickly test it out. And like I said, I'm sure there's much easier ways to do this, but this is just the way that came to my head when I was doing it, so that's what we're doing. It'll function completely fine, it's just not quite as compact as it could be. So now when we press this button, we should see the fence gates flicker as well. As you saw there, they flicker. And it gives it the armor stands enough time to flow to the next holding chamber before they close, which is good. So now we can replace our water. Alright, now we can put some armor stands into the system. So there's a few ways to do this. Could grab some different colored helmets just for funsies. We need one more. Oh, leather cap. Sounds good. So one way to load this machine, you could just go up there and place them in each chamber individually, or you could come down here, put one in there. So this is always going to be on this slot. This armor stand with the leather cap will always be seen when this light is lit. So now let's get rid of that guy. And then you see he went into slot number 1. Let's put this guy into slot number 2. As you can see, the next one went to the next slot, or the first one we put in. So we can just do this for all of our types here. And so on this last one, you can see there's a guy in the first slot here, so he'll drop down when we press this button, and this guy will get whisked away. Perfect. So now we can just keep scrolling through our armor stands. And it is amazing. Yes, yes. Cool, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this tutorial entertaining, useful, and maybe you learned something too. I try to explain the redstone as well as I can. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Bye.